Chicago. Y'all thought I forgot about y'all, didn't y'all, Chicago? I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget you. I didn't forget my babies over in Chicago. There's women that are fleeing and residents that are being caught up in a gang war in Chicago. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Tonight, we are listening to neighbors in Irving Park who say they keep hearing gunshots right outside their doors.
And now police tell us it's because this area is in the middle of a gang war.
It's happening near the intersection of Spalding and Berteau.
Our Jermont Terry caught up with neighbors and police leaders tonight. He joins us now. What are they saying, Jermont?
Joe and Erica, they're fed up and looking for answers. People living in the Irving Park community say they are tired of waking up to gunshots. And tonight, officers here at the 17th Police District, confirmed that these shootings are gang related, leaving these homeowners right in the crossfire. Check out this image. It shows where a bullet damaged a car parked in Irving Park just last week.
Shootings happen right over there countless times.
Jeff Zawijak is tired of keeping track of the number of times gunfire either wakes him up or worse, forces him to take cover.
My concern when I started work from home was really like grass and taxes.
Dog don't even want to work from home no more. Hey, his concern working from home was grass and taxes. He wasn't expecting to be worried about gunfire and bullets. I remember when I first moved out of the hood, I don't even remember how old I was. I was like in my 20s. I stayed in the same house. Until my 20s. I grew up in the same house on the same block on Green Lawn between Norfolk and Chippewa, between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. Born and raised in that house. Born in Sinai Hospital, which wound up closing. That was on Outer Drive. And I had never known anything else except for sirens and gunshots. And it became so normal that was just a part of the way that we lived. And I would assume that that's how people in foreign countries live, people in third world countries. Like, not bad like that, right? Not as bad as being in a third world country, but to be normalizing that level of toxicity and that lifestyle. I had never experienced anything. My first experience was something different than what I had been seeing inside of the neighborhoods and stuff like that, was going to private school. The first time that I went to private school in middle school, when I got invited to a little party, and the party wound up being at some girl's mega mansion. He wound up being one of the richest guys at the time inside of Michigan. And I was like, I ain't never seen nothing like this before. It was one of the wildest things I had ever seen in my entire life. And then later in my early 20s, when I wound up moving out of the hood, because I had wound up getting carjacked, and I moved out of the hood, and the first night that I spent the night, I couldn't sleep. Because all I was hearing was crickets, and it was too quiet. Everything was closed because, in the city, it's always something open. It's a Coney Island down the street. Street lights is always on. You've seen all of that stuff. And so everything had been closed. Like all of the stuff, even the gas stations, there was nothing open. And because we had been moving all day. And so I was like, hey man, we got to go and get something to eat. It's late at night. I'm so used to going to Coney Island. Nothing was open. It was pitch black outside. Nothing was open. And I could not sleep. I couldn't sleep for like 2 weeks straight. I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks straight because I had to readapt to the thing that I had been used to dealing and having all of that stuff inside of the hood. It was so crazy because when I went back to the neighborhood one time, or when I had stayed in the city, and I was hearing and I was seeing things that I had, that I had became used to, but that I had adapted away from. I looked at the house. The house looked so much smaller. I couldn't go back. I couldn't unsee it. I was like, you know what? Never again. I can't even believe that we was able to survive in this type of neighborhood, in this type of environment. So him with his American flag and his manicured lawn, he probably experiencing some level of trauma right now in Chicago.
Now it's shootings. I mean, I don't know what to do.
He has lived in the area of Spalding, Alberto for 7 years, but within the last year, he's done something more than ever before.
My frequency to call 911 has increased.
That's because gunshots keep ringing out.
No matter, they ain't got no
day
police
and
officers.
night.
July 30th, July 31st, 2 days in a row, right there. After that, September 11th, shootings, all cars being
Don't worry about it, you'll get
blasted,
used to it,
blown
big
out.
dog.
And then a shooting yesterday.
No, I think it's gang violence. There's something going on.
Tuesday night, officers from CPD's 17th Police District told neighbors at a CAPS meeting gangs are to blame for this uptick. Hearing the confirmation that they suspect
hold on. I
that
thought
this is
that,
gangs, what does this do overall for the neighbors?
I thought that Chicago was safer. I thought that y'all said Chicago was safe, that they told us, Chicago, New York, all of these cities, even though 80-something-year-old women is getting punched in the face, that it's an uptick in gang violence in neighborhoods that usually didn't even experience it. They told us that it was safer and crime was down. Is it crime reporting that's down because they have a shortage of 2,000 plus police officers? They told us that it was safer. That's what they keep telling us inside of the news.
I think it makes us all just want a plan of action so we can, take the safety
Ain't got
back
no
for our
money.
neighborhood.
Ain't no
Police
action.
say they're working on the problem, but neighbors worry the next bullet won't just damage a parked car.
I'm a taxpayer. I just had my taxes doubled last year, and now I've got to deal with this kind of violence.
That's because your people voted for it. Everybody in Chicago, they said we vote blue no matter what. Imagine this. You paying more money than ever before. Your taxes, your property taxes double. Your property taxes double, but your representation as far as the things that you get for your property taxes decrease. And then at the same time, they telling you, hey, crime is down and we got to continue to fund this migrant crisis.
Now, Chicago police, they're planning to do a roll call in that community sometime in the coming weeks. The message really sent a message to the gangs that they are not wanted. Neighbors say anything.
Hey, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to roll through. We're going to do a roll call in your neighborhood. And we want to send a message to the gangs that they are not wanted in this community.
Is better than nothing, but action is needed. Reporting outside the 17th Police District tonight, Jermont Terry, CBS News.
I lost everything up here to gun violence. I lost my niece. I lost my son's father. I have nothing left up here. I'm not going to lose my life for my son's life.
Samara Harmon says Chicago has taken everything from her that she held close to her heart.
Okay, I got my name. Please don't hurt.
Earlier this month in broad daylight on the 7300 block of South Wabash and Grand Crossing, Samara and her 10-year-old son found themselves face to face with danger, a robber.
Hey, that is in the broad daylight. The sun is at its peak in a manicured neighborhood on a one-way street. How can you tell that it's a one-way street? Because everybody is parked on both sides of the street. It's a one-way street. She is pushing a baby stroller and she is getting robbed in broad daylight.
Gun cocked, ready to pull the trigger. He got away with $1,700. The mom of two was using that money to move. And that's when he fled from the scene. And now she's fleeing the city.
Why does she have $1,700 on her?
Hoping to rebuild a better life far from where it all fell apart.
Completely starting over with my kids. My son's going to go to college. He's going to get a degree.
Harmon doesn't want anyone to know exactly where she's going, but it is out of state.
He cocked the gun. He was not successful.
Pastor Leonard Smith heard her story and held a virtual fundraiser as Harmon leaves Chicago with just a few suitcases.
This is just a caring mother who's doing what she can on her own with a job really not even really full time. So it was just something that, had me to a point where I had to do something to help her.
Harmon has an apartment but still doesn't have justice. Chicago police had her to go through a lineup, but she couldn't positively identify the suspect.
I don't want to put an innocent man in jail.
Still haunted by what he witnessed, Harmon's son will continue therapy. He admits he's constantly looking over his shoulder, but holds on to the hope that justice is just around the corner.
He gonna be in jail.
You ain't got to worry about it, little homie. You know why? You ain't got to worry about it, little dog. You know why? Father killed, niece killed, everybody around her is dead, and she just got robbed. She is a single mother now with 2 little kids. But they keep telling you that it's safe in your communities to raise your kid. Don't worry about it. We got a migrant crisis coming in. We're going to fix it that way.